Hello stylers, spring is finally here, and with that comes warmer weather, shedding those heavy layers and bringing out those bright, bold colors and patterns that we missed during the winter months. One trend that I look forward to every season is crop tops. These fun, floaty pieces are essential in every girl wardrobe. If you're interested in seeing how I create 3 different styles, please stay tuned. Here's what you would need to get started. A half a yard to a yard and a half of fabric of choice depending on size. You would need a scissors or a router cutter and a cutting mat if you're using a router cutter. Measuring tape or ruler. Zippers. Pins to pin your fabric together and your pattern to your fabric. Marker and chalk. As well as some sort of pattern paper, newspaper. I use old newsprint for my drawing days. As well as a shirt to use as a template to trace onto the pattern. As well as for all those who don't sew, you would need either liquid stitch or heat and bond. Let's begin. For the purpose of this video, I created my patterns the night before, and I traced a bustier top that I already owned that fit me very well. There are 4 pieces of this pattern altogether, but I only showed 3. Folding your fabric in half, making sure that the edge is lined up well. You want to fold it wrong sides up. You're going to take your first piece, your bustier piece, fold that in half and pin that to the fold of the fabric. You're going to do the same with your back piece, which I used out of an old sheet. And you're going to also fold that in half and pin that to the fold of the fabric. Again, fold your fabric wrong side up. So right sides facing together. Because I do not have a cutting mat, I would not be using my rotary cutter. Instead, I would be using a pair of very, very sharp scissors. You want to use scissors that you only use to cut fabric because it will keep the scissors sharp. Be careful when cutting the fabric. You want to try to keep your lines as clean as possible. That will help with hemming up the edges in the future. You're going to cut out both your front and back pieces. Careful to keep the fabric pinned in place on the pattern. For the 2 side panels, you would need 2 separate pieces for each panel. So don't worry about trying to cut your fabric on the fold. Here I'm using the salver edge as the edge of my fabric just for a little bit of seam allowance. I made my pattern a little bit wider so that I can have room to bring it in if need be. You're going to do the same as before. Pin your pattern to your fabric and cut. You're going to use the leftover fabric to make straps. So set aside for later. When you're done cutting your fabric, you should have a total of 4 different sections. Your 2 side panels, your front bust panel that was cut on the fold, and your back panel that was also cut on the fold. You should take your back piece with your 2 side panels and pin those together. And then you should take your front panel piece and pin it to your 2 side pieces. I don't know if you can tell, but I re-pinned my fabric so that it can fold over. You can zigzag or lock stitch your seams so that it can have a nice clean finish. Always remember to back stitch. Press all your seams so that it can have a nice clean finish. For the purpose of this video, I created my straps off camera. I just measured from the top of my shirt to the back of my shirt and then cut the strips and then folded them in half, and now I am sewing where the halves meet. Always remember to back stitch at the beginning and end. Using my fingers, I am opening up the seam on the back of the strap. I'm going to be pressing that down so that I can press it firmly with an iron. This part will be laying flat against my skin so it won't be seen. You can create your straps any way you see fit. Depending on the type of fabric you have, you probably won't even need straps if you have a very structured fabric. You could just go with just wearing a bra or a strapless bra. Again, this part is completely optional. You can make your straps any way you see fit. I'm just pressing down the seam, pressing open the seam of the strap so that it can lay flat on my back so that it'd be easy for me to attach it. Don't forget, stylists, to always try on your clothes during the entire process to make sure everything fits, to make sure everything comes together cohesively. If you need to take something in, bring something out. Remember, it's better to have too much fabric and not enough fabric at all, which is why my patterns look so big. Here I am attaching the straps to the back side of the shirt before I try the shirt on once again to know exactly where I want to attach them to the front part of my shirt before I sew. You want to hem up all your seams and your hem, and then you're done with this look. Okay guys, I was evolving doing this process. I was learning as I was going. I have this piece of newsprint that I made the night before, and I am lining it up on my fabric. As you can see, I am using a ruler to make sure I have 2 inches down because I want to make sure I have enough length for the fabric. I'm going to once again pin my pattern to the fabric. As you can see here, I am taking a ruler and I am measuring 3 inches out. I'm doing that because I didn't have anything wide enough to give me the width that I wanted for the shirt. So I just I'm measuring more inches out to make sure that I have enough fabric. You always want to make sure you have more fabric than you need in case you need to take something in or bring something out. And then I'm just going to use the ruler to connect all those dashes together so that I can have a seamless line to cut on. You're going to go and you're going to cut your fabric. Again, use scissors that you only use on fabric. Try to cut as clean as possible so that it's easier to sew your edges in the future. Okay, here's the front part of your fabric, and again you want to fold this in half and pin this to the fold of your fabric. And once again, I am just measuring 3 inches down to make sure that I have enough fabric and to add room for seam allowances. Okay guys, this is what I mean by I was learning as I was going. I didn't cut my fabric on the folds because I didn't have enough fabric to cut on the fold the second time. So here you can see me adding a 1/2 inch to 1 inch in seam allowance to the front, because in the future I'm going to add a zipper in the front as a nice little detail. This part is totally optional. You can just have a seam down the back of your shirt instead of the front of your shirt, or you can just get enough fabric to cut on the fold twice. Totally up to you. On to the I traced this shape from a t-shirt that I already owned, and I am pinning my fabric pattern to the fabric. Now, for the sleeves, you do not have to cut on the fold. Some shirts have a seam at the top of the sleeve, some shirts do not. That choice is completely optional to you. Okay, when you're done cutting, you should have a back piece and 2 front pieces. That should make the total of 5 different sections. 2 of those sections being your 2 sleeves, so you need 2 of each sleeve. You're going to pin your front pieces to your back piece. As for the sleeves, we are not going to add to the shirt as of yet. We're going to sew the shirt up, try it on, and see how it fits. For the purpose of this video, I started working on this shirt off camera. I am just showing you the size of the shirt and how I folded the seams over to give that nice clean finish. I have not sewed the top of the shoulders as well as the front part of the shirt, where I will later add the zipper. Again, zigzag or overlock your edges so you give them a nice clean finish. Always remember to backstitch. Here I am showing you how I pinned the zipper to the front of the shirt. Please excuse my little peek show. Showing you that the zipper does work, goes up and down. You want to make sure that you don't get no fabric or thread caught in the zipper. Using a zipper foot that comes standard with any sewing machine, you're going to sew your zipper onto your shirt. Always remember to backstitch at the beginning and start. You're going to sew up the hem of your shirt, clean anything that needs to be cleaned, and you're done. Again, you want to start by folding your fabric in half, right sides facing together, so that means wrong side facing up. This style is by far the easiest of them all, which is why I've done it last. You want to take a old tee or crop top that fits you well, fold that in half, use a pin to secure it, and then you want to take that tee or crop top and pin it to the fabric, just to secure it down, just as you've done with your pattern paper. And then you're going to take your chalk and simply trace around the edge of the shirt onto the fabric. I'm telling you guys, this one is the easiest of them all. You can get a whole bunch of fabric and make like 3 or 4 of these and just wear them the entire spring and summer. You can make this shirt in so many different variations. This one is literally probably my favorite. Then you're going to simply cut out the line that you just traced. You're going to repeat that step when creating the front and or back of the pattern. So you need 2 of these pieces. Don't worry about making it perfect. You can fix everything up doing sewing. Okay, again, you should have 2 pieces. You should have a front piece and a back piece. I like this style of shirt because it's a bit more boxy, so it can be a bit more florid, which is why I say you can make this style in so many different variations. showing you guys how I fold over my fabric so I get that nice seamless edge. I just fold the ends inward on themselves. Always remember to backstitch at the beginning and end of your seams. And I'm going to continue sewing, just tucking and folding as I go to make sure that my edges are nice and clean. As well as you can go back and zigzag stitch or double lock your stitches. Here I am showing you me trying the shirt on. Always remember to try on your clothes during the process to make sure you need to fix anything before you finish. I am going to open up the neckline and loosen up a sleeve. I had my sister to help me add pins to my shoulders to where I want the neckline to start, and I'm using chalk to draw a half shape oval down to where I wanted to end at my neck, and I'm just going to cut that out. Unfolding the shirt, I am going to pin down the neckline so I have a nice clean finish. I'm going to hem up the bottom of the shirt. Don't forget to press all your seams, and then you guys are done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and always remember to love yourself fully. See you soon.